all things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Every individual charged in the indictment is charged with one count of violating Georgia's Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act through participation in a criminal enterprise in Fulton County, Georgia, and elsewhere to accomplish the illegal goal of allowing Donald J. Trump to seize the presidential term of office beginning on January 20th, 21. Specifically, the participants in association took various actions in Georgia and elsewhere to block the counting of the votes of the presidential electors who were certified as the winners of Georgia's 2020 general election. As you examine the indictment, you will see acts that are identified as overt acts and those that are identified as predicate acts, sometimes called acts of racketeering activity. Overt acts are not necessarily crimes under Georgia law in isolation, but are alleged to be acts taken in furtherance of the conspiracy. Many occurred in Georgia, and some occurred in other jurisdictions and are included because the grand jury believes they were part of the illegal effort to overturn the results of Georgia's 2020 presidential election. The acts identified as predicate acts or acts of racketeering activity are crimes that are alleged to have been committed in furtherance of the criminal enterprise.
Oh my God, it is Rico. Wow. Gosh. I mean, you anybody that was watching, the kind of activities that went on in Georgia understood that there was so much criminal activity in that state around these electors, around slates of fake electors, that there had to be a RICO charge. There had to be, because they were engaging in a corrupt enterprise. They were literally trying, and by them I mean there's over 49 people in this here indictment. See, this is one of the nice things about Jack Smith and his federal indictment, is it's very neat, it's very clean. It has unindicted co-conspirators, and maybe you were wondering, like, why did he name, Jeff Clark and Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell and John Eastman and Cheeseburger? Like, why did we have enough identifying, behaviors that we knew who these unindicted co-conspirators were in Jack Smith's case, but they weren't named and they weren't indicted along with Donald Trump, the sole indictee, the sole person that was indicted by Jack Smith in the federal case. And now maybe you can see the beauty of Jack Smith's choice, that he did it because it would, keep, well, you know what it's going to look like in that courtroom now, right? And listen, Georgia, they have cameras in the courtroom. They do. They like transparency. They welcome them. You saw that last night with Judge Robert McBurney, who is a magistrate judge. Obviously, he's not going to be the judge that would preside over the trial. But, you saw him yesterday have cameras in the courtroom. You saw him have, a whole bunch of reporters in the courtroom. And you saw some of them had their phones, and their phones were recording, right? That's how it is in the state court in Georgia. That's how it is in Fulton County, Georgia, in Atlanta. And so if we ever get to a trial date in Georgia, then, we'll get to see this trial. This is the Debbie Downer portion. I'm just going to run through the bad things about it. Okay. So because we have so many defendants named in this particular indictment, we have 19 defendants, 19, Donald Trump and 18 others. You know that each and every one of those people has to have, under our constitutional due process laws, they have to have lawyers. They have to have due process. They have to be, as far as the court is concerned, as far as, the jury is concerned. And unless you think that you're, I don't know, the 13th member of the jury, you don't have to presume them innocent, okay? I certainly do not. But the jury does. and their attorneys have to be included in the proceedings. So, oh my God, you can have 19 defendants with 19 attorneys, 19 opening statements, 19 closing statements. And if we're, not mistaken that Donald Trump is the ringleader of the attorney, circus, right? That he sort of picks attorneys for his co-conspirators. And in this here country, which is something we really ought to get to, something we really ought to see to, something we really ought to fix, there's nothing illegal or there's no ethical component or a conflict for Donald Trump to pay for, Rudy Giuliani's attorney. There's no conflict for Donald Trump to pay for Jenna Ellis's attorney. Really? He's going to pay for cheeseburgers? So if that's the case, right? Expect a lot of delays. Expect that this attorney's going to say, okay, I want to put in a motion in limine. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then whatever the judge in the trial court setting says, is the verdict or is the decision. Oh, we want to appeal that. Do you know what I mean? 19 different, defendants with 19 attorneys, all paid for by Donald Trump. I mean, it's like a bad Frank Zappa song. You know what I mean? A good Frank Zappa song, actually. He never made a bad song. Never. And if you say he did, I'm going to call you a liar. And
okay, can I
No.
settle with he made some really weird songs?
No.
No?
No. No. But anyway, so you're going to have 10,000 lawyers, each one tuned to Donald Trump. I mean, that's just so weird. That is just strange. But so there's that. She says that she was asked yesterday in the question and answer portion of her press conference last night, not only, are you ready to go to trial? When would you foresee this going to trial? And she answered that by saying the trial judge sets the date. That is the way it goes. Trial judges have an enormous say over what goes on in their courtroom, which is why, you could get a very odd duck that says, I don't want cameras in the courtroom. You could have that, right? But she said she would like to go in 6 months. No one thinks that that's realistic.
What is the timetable for the trial?
Yeah.
As you know, in this jurisdiction, trials are set by the judges. And so it will be the judge that sets the date of the trial. This office will be submitting a proposed scheduling order within this week. However, that will totally be at the discretion of the judge.
You're the fourth person, the fourth jurisdiction now to indict Donald Trump. Do you believe you need to be the fourth one to try him, or could you move it up? Do you want to be the first to try him?
I don't have any desire to be first or last. I want to try him and be respectful for our sovereign states. We do want to move this case along, and so we will be asking for a proposed order that occurs a trial date within the next 6 months.
Wouldn't that be nice? That would be wonderful. But he's already spoken for. His dance card's kind of full when it comes to trials. He's got a New York trial in March. He's got the documents case in Florida in May. I mean, she better get on the, his calendar. She better get on this dance card. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.